And if you're going to get into the industry and you want to have the kind of lifestyle that Cody has, or maybe one of your other mentors, or maybe I can be your mentor, you're going to have to understand you're going to work your butt off for a few years, not weeks, not months, years.
Yeah.
I interviewed a guy the other day and I said, how long have you been working? He goes, 30 years. I said, all right, you've been working 30 years. And if you stop work today, what's your total income for the 30 years of your life you gave to your boss trading time for dollars? He goes, nothing. I said, so, okay, so you're about 50 something years old. He goes, yeah. I said, so are you going to grind to make money the rest of your life no matter what you do? He says, yeah. I said, okay, well, why not grind in an industry that you get to own your business? You get to own your residual income. You get to go out there and by empowering customers and clients, money will flood into your bank account. Oh, yeah. And if you build a team and you empower your agents, Cody, oh, lots of money floods into your bank account.
Yeah. Welcome back to the CA Power Players Podcast, live every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Today, I got a special guest. I'm talking to a guy that's done $220K his first year and $2 million in agency volume in his first 12 months from Eagle, Idaho, Mr. Darin Stubbs.
Hey, Cody. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you, brother. I'm excited, man. You've done some amazing stuff, incredible accomplishments. I mean, you know, you're close to already making $1 million this year. Like you are lighting it up. Okay.
Things are going well.
Dude, they are, man. But did they always go as well as they are today?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
What did that look like, man? So think about early entrepreneur days compared to now, man. Like take us on that journey for a second.
Yeah. Okay. So I grew up in a small town outside of Sacramento, grew up on a farm, milking cows, bucking hay. There was always something broken, you know, and I actually lived in the barn for 3 years. My older brother and I, we literally lived in the barn. We knocked up some walls, lived in a 12 by 12 space. And out one side is where we milked the cows. Out the other side is where the shop was with, you know, all the tools and gas and kerosene and diesel fuel and hay and all that. And as a young man, I decided, hey, you know what, this hard work, this is not for me. You know? I'm going to work with my mind. Because, you know, from here down, back then, I would say $10 an hour, maybe from here down, $50 an hour. But in here, it's unlimited what you can accomplish. So like a lot of people, I did what I thought was the right thing. I went to school, majored in finance and economics, started my career in 1987 as a broker for Waddell and Reed, of all people.
Wow.
Yeah. I was the very young associate, like we all stood in line in those college job fairs begging for a job. And I was no different than anyone else, but I didn't kiss the guy's fanny who was interviewing everyone. I said, look, man, if you would just give me a chance, I finally have some experience. So don't tell me I can't hire you because you have no experience. I looked at him and I said, do you remember when you were 23 years old? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, come on, man, take a chance on me. He did. And, being a stockbroker in California is not a very good thing when you're not a morning person. And that guy he yelled a lot. And it was kind of like that movie Wall Street, the original one, with Gordon Gekko and all that.
Yes, such a good movie.
It is a good movie. And Charlie Sheen, and we were literally desk to desk to desk to desk in a bullpen. And it was get your butt in there early and call. And then Cody, I've always had a very true moral compass. And I didn't like the fact that they made me use my licenses to sell things to people I knew that were not good for them. And so after about 6 months, I had a Series 6, 6323. Then I went back, took the 7, a bunch of insurance licenses. And so 6 months later, after I had a major firm on my resume and all of my licenses, I just floated my resume. Now, remember, this is the 80s, okay?
Yeah.
I had like 11 job offers in a week. So I picked a different insurance company, Monarch Capital Corporation, out of Springfield, Massachusetts, and Merrill Lynch to hang my licenses for securities. Did that for several years. And then, started having children, and this is the early 90s now. And I just decided, man, I don't think I want to raise my children in California. So I got a job offer from a group in Salt Lake City to switch into the mortgage banking industry. So I got my mortgage banking license, mortgage broker license, kind of both, and moved to Salt Lake and immediately started commuting to Boise. And I have a family connection here in the Boise area. So Eagle is a suburb of Boise.
Got it.
It's unbelievably beautiful and pristine here. So I, raised a family and I started my own mortgage banking company. Eventually had offices in 6 states, had licenses in 11. And we made millions of money, millions of dollars in money. Started building and developing because, mortgage banking gets a little boring and dry. So I started building. And in fact, I live in a gated community, and in this very community and the one next to it, Banbury Golf Club, I built and flipped a couple houses in there. And I remember I did one, and I think it took me 8 months, and I walked out of the title company with a cashier's check for $173,000. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. It's
never made it.
Yeah. And for those of us that were in the mortgage industry, from like 98 to 2008, I mean, you could like blow your nose and make 30 grand a month. It was crazy. And you ever seen the movie The Big Short?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. They had those scenes in Las Vegas with Angelo Maselli, and who was the president of Countrywide, and Andrew Cuomo, who was the head of HUD under then President Clinton. And you see Steve Carell's character, standing up and yelling out at them. I did that exact same thing too. I was in those meetings. I stood up and called Angelo Maselli a crook and a thief in front of 800, 900 people in the room. And I said, look, man, you guys are going to crash the mortgage market. If I did what you did, I'd be in prison for the rest of my life. And, we all know what happened in 2008, 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
So I had taken advantage, I was got pretty good at building houses, and, tax law, every 24 months, your primary owner occupied resident, you can make $250,000 tax free. And so I had rolled and rolled and rolled to the point, and I had a 4,000 square foot, unbelievable home cash. 40 something years old, no mortgage payment. I mean, and that's a feeling, being debt free is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I had offices, employees, I had spec houses and projects. And then, man, I tell you, when that thing turned off, it was like someone just shut the spigot off, and my income went almost overnight. So during that process, I thought, well, I've been in the business 20 years. I've seen ups, I've seen downs. I can ride this out. Everything's going to be just okay. You get just a little bit of that pride thing going, a little bit of that arrogance thing going on. I'm just fine. So like any smart person, I made a huge mistake. I took $350,000 first cash out mortgage on my primary owner occupied residence from guess who? Countrywide.
Oh my God.
And I thought, okay, now I have $350,000 in cash. I can keep feeding these projects. I can pay my subcontractors. I can pay payroll. I can pay the leases on the buildings. And it didn't take long. It's amazing how fast you can burn through 350 grand when you don't have a lot of cash flow coming in. So I know, let's borrow some more money. So I went down to Zions Bank. US Bank. No, Zions Bank, and took $150,000 HELOC on my home. So now I'm $500,000 in debt on my primary owner occupied residence. There went all that hard work. And of course I went through that 150 grand. And then I remember when the first 30-day late payment came on my credit report on a mortgage. Even though I still had equity, that was it. No more borrowing. So it was kind of like the death of 1,000 cuts. I made, I think, every mistake you could make, I think I made. I just kept trying to hold on and cling on, and just like a slow, painful death, until finally I found myself in OD, notice of default, then multiple notices of default, because I had a bunch of houses, and then the foreclosure process. And then my attorney's going, look, bro, you have to file bankruptcy. I'm like, I can't file bankruptcy because I'm the principal broker of my company, and I'm pretty sure the Idaho Department of Finance does not allow you to be the principal and personally file bankruptcy. So it got bad. So one day I went to the federal building, and I'm standing in downtown Boise at the federal building filing bankruptcy going, oh, my life is over. Went back to my office, grabbed my original mortgage broker banker license, and went down to the Department of Finance and surrendered my license. And like that, I was out of business. And single father, raising 4 children. And I fought and fought and fought to save my house until, the sheriff showed up and said, get out. This is a writ signed by the magistrate. You either get out or we force you out. And then we take everything in your house and we sell it. And my kids were like, oh my gosh, Daddy, what's going on? And my then youngest daughter was 10. She's 24 now. And she said to me, Daddy, you can't lose your job. You're the boss man. I'm like, try to explain the collapse of the secondary money market to a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? Because all she knew is she saw all these folders, and Daddy does loans, and there's we have lots of loans in your office. I said, yeah, honey, but the people Daddy's company sells them to, they're no longer in business. So which means we're out of business. And she got this big look on her face. Are we going to be poor? I said, don't ever say that word poor.
Yeah.
because we were never poor. We're going to be broke for a while. And so funny story, I called my mom and I'm bemoaning and whining and complaining and, oh, I have to sell my boat and I have to sell my motorcycles and I have to sell my jet ski. My mom goes, well, hold on a second, honey. I said, what's that, Mom? She goes, there are a lot of people who don't have anything to sell. So stop complaining, sell your boat, sell one of your motorcycles, feed your children, and be grateful that when you did make money, you were smart and you paid cash for those toys because now you have an asset to liquidate so that you can feed your children. I'm like, well, that's pretty good wisdom. Pretty hard to argue with that. You know? Yeah. What do you, okay, Mom. So yeah, of course, motorcycle 1, 2, 3, 4, boats, jet skis, cars, boom, 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 boom. And that's how I survived, liquidating assets. I remember telling my children, all right, everybody come to the garage, and the house I built there that rolled up on both ends. And behind our house was a big field. In fact, when I dug out my house to do the crawl space, I took all the dirt and piled it in the field behind. We had a motorcycle track behind our house. So we were the most popular house in that neighborhood. All the kids came over to get in our hot tub and ride our motorcycles. And my children were like, well, Dad, what are you doing that for? I said, well, because some nice person's coming to buy them and we got to let some other family have them. Why? I'm like, well, you want to eat, you know? And so It was terrible. It was hard.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. I want to pause real quick before you keep going through the story, because this is like such a huge learning lesson for those that are listening, man. Like, how did it feel? I mean, you talk about it, right? Single father, 4 kids. You have all this stuff. You've built up this gigantic business, and how does it feel to go through all of it? Like, well, and what did you take away and learn that you took with you the next time?
Well, I think, looking back, the good things I did that my father and mother taught me, always spend less than what you make. That's how I got to where I was and where I'm at now again, which we're going to come to the rest of that later, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But in the end, things are not as important as family and people. It's just a damn motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because you know what I got in the garage now, Cody? Bunch of brand new motorcycles I paid cash for.
Yes.
The BMW 545, yeah, it's gone, and there's an Audi S8 sitting in the garage in cash. And that's when I bought it, $126,000 car. It's just car. Stuff, and what I realized, it took me a while to understand that it wasn't, I didn't make some catastrophic, reckless business decision that led me here. I mean, who knew the entire secondary money market was going to collapse?
Yeah.
I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people like me all over the country that went through the same thing. They lost everything. But what I realized was I have children who need a father. I shared custody with my ex-wife, who's she's a good lady. We just couldn't work for us, and I still had to pay child support payments. Kids were going back and forth, that whole thing. And in Idaho, man, if you don't pay your child support, they take your driver's license away from you.
Wow.
Getting caught without your driver's license is called DWP, driving without privileges. And here in Idaho, that's the same as DUI. You go to jail. And I remember thinking, I got to pay that child support because the Idaho child receiving, they don't fool around, man. You're late, boom, they're on you. And my child support number was a pretty high number, so it didn't take long for me to fulfill the statutory minimum, exactly 30 days. If I didn't pay, I was already late, and they would suspend my license. So I just kept thinking, you know what, I got to take care of my children. I still have my mind, I still have my heart, but it was defeating, brother. I mean, it literally put me down to my knees, crying and praying more than once. And what kept me alive was, I have to take care of these babies. I brought these children into this world. This is my responsibility. You're going to have to man up, suck it up, and do what you got to go do. But it was tough, going from a lifestyle of, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year to like, oh my God, I'm barely going to make $4,000 or $5,000 a month. I filled out a resume to go get a job for the first time in, 25 years. And I went to work for this tech company, and I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. It was crazy.
Jeez, man, that's a weird feeling too, right? To go from big old business to a resume and going into somebody's office for 3-4.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I'm completely unemployable.
Yeah.
And I'm the nicest guy in the world. You ask me to do something, sure, no problem. You tell me what to do, oh, hairs on the back of my neck come up and my middle finger starts to go, you know which one I'm talking about. Don't tell me what to do. Ask me, sure. Yeah, it was very humbling. I mean, we're talking like a major dose of eating crow and humble pie.
Mm.
And so I went to work for this Google shop, and my best friend in Sacramento, we went to college together, Tony Underwood, and he had built a tech company and sold it for 107 million. He's like, Darren, you're smart. You need to get into the tech business. And I had another buddy in San Jose who did some little gadget, took him 7 months, sold it for 24 million, some app, some piece of code. I'm like, Tony, I'm a finance geek. I'm not a tech geek. I don't have a clue what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
But I came up with an idea watching this other company in Boise. So I wrote a business plan for a pay for performance SEO business in the SMB space, small and medium businesses. And so I wrote this business plan. And of course, in the business plan, the executive summary, I disclose my background and admit I'm not a tech geek. I know there's gaps in my business plan, but I think if we find the right tech people, we could fill that in. I eventually sold that piece of intellectual property to a group in Sacramento, and I think they paid me, I don't know, like 80 grand. And then they hired me to run it. And it was great. It was like, okay, I'm okay. I'm going to be good. I'm going to survive. And about 18 months into it, I was making a modest income, 12,000 a month, maybe 15, 9, just depends. And about 18 months into it, the CEO of that company called. Now I had a fancy title, as a VP, and all the other VPs of this $40 million company, which got bought and sold, and now that company's worth $1 billion. I just didn't get to participate in that because the day he called me, I'm thinking, all right, here it comes, $25,000 salary, stock options, bonuses. No. Hey, Darren, great job, phenomenal, but we're just going to take the company a different direction, and I got to let you go. I'm like, no, you can't. That's my idea. He goes, no. I paid you for that intellectual property. It's my idea. I own it. And I thought, oh, he's got a good point. He did buy it from me. So I thought, for a week, well, I'll just spin off and start my own company and do the same thing. So I started the same company, same technicians. They were just 1099 instead of employees. And everything was going great till about September of 2015. And that's when outsourcing for website design, WordPress got popular in India and the Philippines. And I lost 50% of my customers in 40 days.
Jeez.
And so December 2015, I'm sitting in my house, 2 neighborhoods over, Banbury Golf Club, sitting in this house with a house payment of $3,300. It's just me. I realized, when's the last time I went upstairs? I'm thinking, oh, the kids go upstairs, and all the kids are out of the house. Now they all moved out. They're grown up. Well, I live in like 1/3 of one part of downstairs, and I really started self-examining. Why do I live in this house? Was it pride? Is it ego? Is it because I live in Banbury Golf Club? I'm thinking I live in like 1/3 of one part of the downstairs. I don't even go in the rest of the house. And I sat there, glass of wine in my hand, Christmas Day, all by myself. I was kind of lonely.
Yeah.
And I realized, man, if you don't do something different, if you don't open your mind and get humble and figure out something else, you are going to be the nicest guy selling fishing licenses at Walmart in 15 years. And I just turned 50 years old. And then about 3 weeks later, a buddy of mine who I had not seen in 7 years called me out of the blue from Portland, Oregon. Tony Capistrano.
Yes, I love Tony.
He says, hey, Darren. Darren, this is Tony Capistrano. And we do the Tony Capistrano sound-alike contest.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Oh, no, dude. We're on camera, and this is going to last forever, so I don't want Tony calling me up there. Dude, what are you doing? But he calls me up, and he says that inevitable phrase. Yeah. There's these guys in North Carolina. I'm like, oh, crap. Multi-level marketing.
You already knew.
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, Tony, he was really good at that stuff. He was one of those guys that actually had 10,000 people and built the lotions, potions, and pills and made money, because he tried to recruit me for that for 7 years.
Lotions, potions, and pills.
And I just said, Tony, look, man, if this is multi-level marketing, I'm hanging up the phone right now. He goes, no, wait, bro, wait, don't do it. It's not, I promise. And that's how I got introduced to the IMO mortgage protection space.
Wow.
Yep. Called me out of the blue. It was a Monday night. He sent me a recording. It was like an audio recording, not even a video. And it wasn't Symmetry Financial. It was some little knockoff startup company that had been in business for like 9 months. And I listened to it. I thought, that's interesting. The next day I did a 3-way call with that guy. And he said, look, we're having our first conference in Raleigh this Friday. And I'll comp your ticket. Capistrano's already coming. He said you could sleep on the other bed in his hotel room at the Marriott Suite or whatever it was, Marriott Courtyard. He says, you just got to get yourself out here to Raleigh. I said, okay, let me think about it, fellas, and I'll call you back. So I quickly logged on. You know how much it cost back then to fly in 2 days in the middle of January from Boise, Idaho to Raleigh, North Carolina? $920.
Yeah.
Now, Cody, I had $942 in my bank account.
Seriously?
For 7 years, I lived on cash and a debit card. And sometimes when I got low on cash, we had this wonderful grocery store chain headquartered here in Boise. Albertsons is headed here. Winco Foods. Winco would still let you write a paper check and get $40 cash back. Wow. I literally would buy like a thing of Altoids and ask for $40 cash back. And that's how I got cash in my pocket. I go down to Winco every couple, and I was like, oh, that check kind of clear. A couple of them bounced, not going to lie. A couple of them bounced. I paid the fee, kept going. And I realized I got to go to this conference. What am I going to do? And so I called my parents who live in Salt Lake, and I said, hey, Mom, if I showed up tomorrow night, would you take me to the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning? She goes, yeah, sure. Because from Salt Lake, it was only $440 to fly to Raleigh. So I got in the car, drove, slept for a couple hours. My mom dropped me off. But from the time of that phone call, 40 hours later, I was on an airplane. Wow. Flying out to Raleigh to check out the mortgage protection insurance business, this whole wonderful industry we're in. Hadn't seen Tony Capistrano in 7 years face to face. And then he introduced me to this amazing gentleman who's become a best friend. 3 of us kind of run hard together, and that's Kyle Kimbrell out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah. And then another friend, Darin Davis, out of Portland, Oregon. And that's the story, man. That's how I got started.
That's insane. I mean, I'm thinking about the amount of people that are listening and watching that have $942 in their bank account, or not much more,
or less,
or less.
Yeah,
and they would never dream to spend $920, or they would have gave up at the $920. They wouldn't have got creative and drove, I don't know, however it was from Bar. I mean, it's got to be
5-hour drive.
5-hour drive from Boise to Salt Lake, and then
get creative enough.
$440, and then get their mom involved to drive. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a creative persistence and drive. I mean, yeah, you had crazy business success, but also too, I think it's almost, I don't know. I mean, you learned a lot of things you can apply, but also too, it would be really hard to make a bunch of money and then be just massively humbled and have it all taken away.
Well,
that would be hard.
Including things like a couple years before that, I had my son, Devin, who was a senior at Boise High School, and my daughter, Audrey, who was either a freshman or sophomore at Boise State University, living with me in this ratty little, barely 3-bedroom, 2-bath with aqua green carpet from the 1980s and a little 2-car garage. And I had the judge, when I went to bankruptcy court, the federal judge said to me, he says, well, Mr. Stubbs, it says here you own 4 cars. I said, yes, sir. It says here you also have 4 children. I said, yes, sir. He goes, well, that Ford Expedition, you own that free and clear. I said, yep. He goes, is that the one that has 3 rows of seats? I said, yes, sir, it is. He goes, okay, so basically what you're saying is that you can get your entire family in that Ford Expedition. I said, well, Your Honor, actually, my children have a funny name for that. And he said, well, what is that? He says, they call that rig the Dadmobile. Because we had like the screens and the Xbox and all that crap. He goes, okay. And he says, well, let me ask you, what car did you drive here to the courthouse today? Did you drive that BMW 545? I said, yes, sir, I did. He goes, okay, well, you're going to have to surrender that keys to that car because you're not going to get to keep that car. And I'm squeezing my attorney's leg, and I'm looking, and he goes, that's what bankruptcy is about, brother. They're going to liquidate your assets. So after that, this Christmas, when my kids are there, I'm in the shower, my son's banging on the door. He goes, Dad, someone's trying to steal the Expedition out of the driveway. I'm like, what? So I jump out of the shower, wrap up in a towel, run, grab a firearm, 9mm Glock, run to the front door and went, wait a minute, let's set that down, let's de-escalate. So I left it sitting on the stand right by the front door, went outside. The house was surrounded. And a tow truck, and it was the tax commission, because I hadn't quite paid up all the way to the tax commission. They served me papers, and they took the only vehicle I owned out of the driveway. Wow. So it got worse. It's crazy, the stuff I went through. And my kids had to sit there and watch that happen.
Yeah.
So I'm opening the doors of the truck. My son played trumpet in the band and his backpack, and I'm throwing stuff out in the driveway, trying to take all of my children's personal property out of the rig before they took it. And they just took it. And I'm like, wow.
Wow. And then you join the insurance business.
Yeah.
You write 220,000 your first full year.
Well, there's a little gap there, Cody. So
okay.
I was with a different company. I like to call that the practice company.
I gotcha.
Got my license, came back. That would have been early 2016. And there was no help, no support. The leads were $55 a lead. And I had no idea what carrier to call, and I had no idea what to do. So it took me a couple months to figure it out. Kyle, Tony, and I agreed, hey, let's work together as a team. And about April, May of 2016, Kyle decided he didn't want to stay working with this other guy because he was kind of unstable. He would just like call you up and say, you know what, you didn't do what I said, so I moved your team to this guy. It would just take your team away from you. And so Kyle found Symmetry Financial and went out to Arizona, met Brian Pope and Casey Watkins and Brandon Ellison and Danny Young and a whole bunch of people there. And he called me up and said, hey, man, I'm leaving this other company. I'm going to Symmetry. You can come if you want. You don't have to, but I'm already resigned. I'm leaving. So he left in June. Tony left in July, and I started August 1st, 2016. So I kind of finished the year there. So 2017 is those numbers you have. That's what I did my first full calendar year, 2017.
Got it. That's amazing. It's still a huge year too, and most don't do that. And recruit a bunch of people to do 2 mil in agency volume. How's that happen to where most people are like, dude, I can barely tie my shoes, like, and sell at the same time. I can't imagine selling and recruiting.
Well, when I got started, I just turned 51 years old. My birthday is July 15th. I signed my contract with Symmetry, I think July something, and started August 1st. And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, all right, Darren, can you summon the strength to go race around the track like a madman for 2 or 3 years, really hard, really focused?
Mm-hmm.
And as I analyze the business plan, when I teach people now, you can be a producer. You can be on the producer track. And being a producer is great. You can make a nice income as a producer.
Yeah,
but Cody, I don't know any producers that make 50 grand a month in residuals off their personal production, or even 20 grand a month. Maybe if there's a handful.
Sure.
But you can also be an owner and a builder. So I decided early on, I have 2 new full-time jobs. Job number 1 is the right now money. I have to produce to put food on the table. I am a top producing field underwriter. Mm-hmm. Job number 2, I'm a top producing national recruiter and trainer for a privately owned insurance and retirement planning company. And I just live my life by my Google Calendar disciplines of managing your calendar. And I even today, I tease and I tell people I feel like I'm bipolar, because 1 minute I'm talking to customers, whether it's insurance and their annuities, and then 6 minutes later I'm switching gears and I'm recruiting. But that's what it takes. I mean, and it's all about choice. It's all about a conscious decision.
That's right.
I had no retirement plan. Everything was taken away from me. My credit when I came to Symmetry was 485. That was my credit score.
Wow. So
what are you going to do? You're going to whine? You're going to complain? You're going to blame, diffuse, deflect, defer, disseminate? Or are you going to accept responsibility for yourself and say, well, the decisions of my past have led me to my present. Here's the beautiful thing, Cody, is you can choose to do something different, because we don't live in the past. We live in the present, and the future is unwritten. We get to write our own future. And this industry is, I keep my boat down in Sacramento, California, on the Deep River Channel. And the biggest yacht in the club is now one of my very best friends, Dr. Kai Anderson. And they're all docs at Kaiser. They're all doctors. And they're like, and so we go do stuff, and I'm the only non-doc there. And I make substantially more money than they do. And they just are like, what? And they trade time for dollars.
Correct.
One of my best friends who's 30 years airline pilot just called me. He's getting his license, 30 years at Southwest. He spent a week with me last year, July 4th week, a whole week. And he watched what I do, and he goes, oh my God, I finally get what you're telling me, Darren. If I'm not sitting in the seat flying the jet for Southwest, I'm not getting paid. And he makes 40 grand a month flying jets.
Wow.
Only when he's working, because he had a little heart problem. And he had a little heart problem, had to put a stent in, FAA grounded him.
Yeah.
So he went from 30 to 40,000 a month to $2,200 a month in disability. 30-year career, vaporized. Now, Good news, he's fully healthy. He's back flying again. But he called me the other day. He was walking through the Denver airport and he goes, I can't keep doing this, man. What do I got to do to get my test? I got to get started. I got to come to work with Symmetry. I love being a pilot, but not anymore. And I am their slave, and I only make money when I'm strapped to the seat flying the plane. If I'm not there, I'm not getting paid. I got to get some of that residual override and all whatever that crap you have, Darren. That's what I got to do. I'm like, all right,
I need. That's right.
Yeah, this is the process. Yeah.
That's good, buddy. I love that. And I mean, what would you say or some of the biggest things you've learned over the last, 5-6 years in the industry?
Wow. That's a big question.
Because you've learned a lot. Your team has grown a lot. I mean, you're going to do, I don't know, you'll probably do 4 or 5, 6 mil in this year,
Yeah. Yeah. That's our run rate right now. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is, because I know people are watching this. So let me talk to people like me first. Okay. If you're watching this video and you've had some success in the past, and maybe you're frustrated or pissed off, and you come to this type of industry, let me tell you what you got to do, brother or sister. You got to get humble, coachable, teachable, trainable. And you have to be willing to surrender to the system and accept that you're going to do some hard work and follow instructions. I mean, I was telling one of my new recruits the other day, we were talking about the difference between surrendering and submitting. See, surrendering is choice. I love that Latin phrase, cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Consciousness. I choose to surrender to do the work. What is submission? That's when you do what your boss tells you to do or you're fired. Mm-hmm. And like I started out, man, I'm not very good at being told what to do, Cody. And I imagine you're the same because you're a serial entrepreneur and you're super successful. In fact, the first time I met you, I thought, how the hell did this kid get so successful so young? Damn it,
Thanks, buddy.
But it's so exciting to be working together now.
Dude, it's fun, man. Getting to spend time with you. I mean, you're speaking in LA. You're speaking on 8% stage this year. We're doing an interview and podcast.
Thank you.
We're doing a lot, man. And I'm excited. It's cool. Also, you're just a good dude. And on that note, if there's others that are watching, they're like, hey, I like this Darin cat. I like his story. Yeah, I hate that he had to go through some of those things, but it's cool that he's able to learn and share it with others. How would they get in touch with you to learn more about what you're doing, to do more with all of us?
Yeah, that's great. So I have a couple websites, little landing page, workinsurancenow.com. Workinsurancenow.com. Just follow instructions. That's more of a recruiting platform. The name of my agency is PacWest Agency, PACWEST agency.com. A lot to get there. I mean, crap, if you Google my name, you can find my cell phone number. My email is just my name at Gmail. But I think some of the other things that I've learned is it's a process. Mm-hmm. People see you and me and other people that are successful, and they want to jump from step 1 to step 400, and that's not how it works. Yeah. The beauty of our industry, and specifically, my company, Quilly and Symmetry Financial, is we already have a business plan. You don't have to write one. It's already done. We already have a compensation plan. You don't have to figure it out. It's already done. We have a promotion plan. You don't have to figure that out. It's already done. At our company, we have a $2 million a month massive marketing machine that generates 15 to 18,000 new inbound organically grown leads every 7 days. You don't have to figure that out. And as a small entrepreneur, you don't have the cash to generate economies of scale to get that kind of return. But we already have all that. So it's a matter of plugging into the system. I don't know if you can you see these iconic pictures of me? Let me kind of just kind of turn that up a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. Now I can.
So this is something that's real important to me. Entrepreneur is a noun. A person who's up late working 100 hours a week for themselves to avoid working 40 hours a week for someone else.
Yes.
Okay. And then people see success. They see the tip of the iceberg, success. But what they don't see is what's under. Hard work, persistence, late night, rejections. Oh yeah, lots of that. Sacrifice, discipline, criticism, doubts, failures, and risks. And then this one, I love this one. 90% who quit are employed by the 3% who never give up.
That's good.
Yeah. And the best part about that, Cody, is you get to decide.
That's right.
You get to choose. People come and go from different things. And you say, well, what's the recipe? Well, everybody's different. I've got my children are between 24 and 30 years old. And now I have 2 grandchildren with one on the way. And they call me Grampy. Grampy, when are we coming to your house? I miss you. It's so wonderful. Life is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, crazy.
I look at young people today, and I remember when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I had to listen to guys that were 40s or 50s like me. I'm like, shut up, old man. I remember vividly thinking that. Get out of the way. Look at me. Watch me go. And I want to speak a minute to people that are a little younger.
Okay.
What are your options? I mean, right now we are in a historically catastrophic time economically. Rampant inflation, gas, $10 a gallon in LA. Here in Boise, in January 2020, around the corner from my house at Fred Meyer, $1.79. I filled up my Audi the other day, $5.29 a gallon.
Yeah.
What the heck? In 18 months. And what you don't realize if you don't know much about economics, inflation is the secret nasty tax that hits everybody. How are you going to get a start? Well, I'm going to go to college. Okay. And how long are you going to work? How long are you going to be broke? And how far in debt are you going to be?
Yeah.
Because I look at coming to work at something like Symmetry Financial. Okay, 4 years. After 4 years, I was making almost 500 grand a year. Plus, I made money the whole way, and I helped empower a lot of people on the team to do the same thing. So if you're thinking, well, I'm going to go to school and get a job and I'm going to be wealthy. No, you're not. You won't be. Odds are, most people have 4 or 5 careers in their lifetime. And then within that career, you're going to have 2 to 3 jobs, and you're going to career change multiple times. Why? Because you're chasing money.
Yeah.
But there's even a more precious commodity, time. You see, we all have 168 hours in a week, 24 hours a day. Elon Musk, Cody Askins, you, if you're watching the video, me, Darren, we're 168. What are you going to do with your time? And what I found is that there are things you can control. And so I like to teach people about the 3 A's. These 3 A words are free, number one. And if you practice these 3 A words, you can change your entire life. Like, oh, come on, Darren. You give me some motivational crap. No, just some wisdom. At 56 years old, I wish I had it 30 or 22 or 44 or whatever your age is. Every day we all get to choose our attitude, Cody. And that's something I know as I've gotten to know and love and respect you. You are radically positive. In fact, I don't think I've met anyone more. You challenge me to be more positive. I love it.
Thanks, buddy.
And everyone on your team, everyone in your company, everyone is so radically positive because you get to choose your attitude every day. 2, you get to control your activity. You see, when my children were younger and I was trying to explain to them that, my little daughter called me the boss man, I said, well, not actually, honey. The boss man or boss woman is our customers and clients. So that goes back to that calendar, managing your time. So your attitude, your activity, and who you associate with. And that's why I love your model, your podcast, and 8%. You're trying to elevate the whole industry. But if people come to 8% Nation and then don't do anything with the information they learned, well, I guess you had a good time. You shook some hands. Maybe you cheered a little bit and had a nice glass of wine. And okay, then what? Because if you don't go do something different, then nothing's actually going to change, man.
That's right. And
I think the other thing that I've learned is anyone can do this. Symmetry, we just put a 26-year-old young man on our board. Yeah, he came here at 20, $15 an hour stocking boxes. He just became a full partner like me. It took him 6 years. But people say, well, why would you do that? Well, one, he's super sharp, and he's Andrew Jimenez. He's wonderful. But you know what? I don't know anything about marketing to 26-year-olds. And did you know what the #1 website on the planet is today? TikTok. TikTok passed Google. My kids are like, Dad, you got to get TikTok. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to be on that thing. It's a waste of time. And that's something else, cautionary tale. Social media is a time suck. Social media is costing you your future. You're taking 19 selfies a day and all that crap. Man, why don't you sit down, make some dials, go help some people, and really change your life?
Yes.
But because people market differently. So we do direct mail and we do postcards and we're on Google, we're on LinkedIn and paid ads and all this stuff, but we had a hole in our marketing, TikTok. So now at Symmetry, we have an entire department that makes TikTok videos. New clients in their 20s are flooding to our company, flooding in every day. So it's a matter of being adaptable, being able to be a little malleable, pliable, but keeping that mental toughness and keeping your compass focused north. And if you're going to get into the industry and you want to have the kind of lifestyle that Cody has, or maybe one of your other mentors, or maybe I can be your mentor, you're going to have to understand you're going to work your butt off. for a few years, not weeks, not months, years.
Yeah.
And I interviewed a guy the other day and I said, how long have you been working? He goes, 30 years. I said, all right, you've been working 30 years. And if you stop work today, what's your total income for the 30 years of your life you gave to your boss trading time for dollars? He goes, nothing. I said, so, okay, so you're about 50 something years old. He goes, yeah. I said, so are you going to grind to make money the rest of your life no matter what you do? He says, yeah. I said, okay, well, why not grind in an industry that you get to own your business? You get to own your residual income. You get to go out there and by empowering customers and clients, money will flood into your bank account. Oh yeah, and if you build a team and you empower your agents, Cody, oh, lots of money floods into your bank account.
Yeah.
You know, my girlfriend and I just lived on an island for a month. Catalina Island. Been going for 30 years, 2 days here, 3 days here, day trips out, Jazz Tracks Festival in October, stay a week. And about 2.5, 3 months ago, Melanie said, hey, let's just go live on the island for a month. I'm like, oh, we can't do that. And she goes, why not? I thought, well, wait a minute. Have laptop, have cell phone, have Wi-Fi. I'm in business.
That's right.
So we rented a house for the month, 12 grand, done. Bought $6,000 in e-bikes, done. Luggage, all this stuff. I'm a really good cook. So when I do like Airbnb for resort, I bring a tub of my own knives and sauces and spices. She thinks I'm crazy, but then she loves the food I cook. And we went out and we literally lived on the island. I didn't drive a car for a month. Bicycle, golf carts, walking.
That's cool.
Sat on the beach and closed a $642,000 annuity. Sitting on the beach.
Now that's life.
I'm sitting here going, okay. And I remember Brandon Ellison and Casey Watkins and Brian Pope telling me, look, Darren, man, because when I first came here, dude, I got to admit, I had a bad attitude, a chip on my shoulder. I had a little anger in my heart still. And Brian Pope put his hand on and Brian's a pretty big dude, put his hand on my shoulder and he says, listen, man, I understand where you're at. I know how frustrating your life was. I know you lost a lot. He said, if you don't check that attitude and you don't get humble and coachable, I'm going to invite you to leave. You're willing to stay and receive coaching from me. And I mean brutally honest, because Darren, I'm going to tell you things you are not going to like because you have blind spots. There's things about you you can't see. But if you're willing to receive that coaching and go through the growth, I promise you're going to make millions of dollars again.
Yeah.
Cody, good thing I got humble in that moment.
That's right.
And boy, he blasted me about 2 seconds after that. He just, bam, let me have it. I got in trouble. I had to get with the chief operations officer, Doug, and read a book and go through a couple coaching sessions. Because you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I popped off on someone. I was a jerk. Someone at the home office who's just doing their job, and I lit them up like an idiot. It's totally my fault, you know? Yeah. And so I think that no matter where you're at, if you're young, if you're willing to do the work and be coachable, you can make it in the insurance industry.
Yes.
I just had a telephone interview with a gentleman in Dixon, California, John, 82 years old.
Wow. Wow.
He goes, well, I'm not dead, Darren. I'm spry as you, I bet. And I'm already life and health licensed. And I kind of tried to do the, lone wolf independent thing. He goes, been reading all about Symmetry. He goes, I just want to join your team. I'm like, well, how'd you find me? He goes, well, I looked on ZipRecruiter. There's a million ads. I saw your ad. I Googled your name. I listened to a couple of your videos. This is like an hour ago. What do I got to do to get contracted? I'm like, okay. And in the same week, I've had two 18-year-olds. So it doesn't matter who you are, black, white, brown, fit, not fit, single, gay, straight. We don't care because you know what? The customers need to be helped. And if your heart has that servant leadership thing, because I've had a couple agents come in, they think they're all this and all they focus on was money, 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 money.
Yeah.
How do you think those agents did? Not very well.
No.
Because they couldn't get their mind out of the money.
Yeah. About this, man, is it's such an incredible career. It's amazing. You've been phenomenal today, by the way. I know I want to be respectful of your time, but you have crushed it. Okay, if you guys have enjoyed and loved listening to Darren, let him know in comments below. Dude's been through a lot. He's learned a lot. He's going to be talking about, can I clue him in? He's going to be talking about the CEO mindset.
Yeah, mindset. Sure. Tell him about it. You bet.
8%. You do not want to miss that talk. I've heard it before. Dude's an unbelievable speaker. He's phenomenal. we're going to do a bunch of stuff together. You're going to keep seeing us, and he's going to be a main stage speaker at 8% Nation 2022 at the end of July in Dallas. That's
Don't
right.
miss it. Be there. Well, I don't have enough money. Look, buy your ticket. Register right now.
Yes.
Okay, just make a decision. Choose. Then go out and work. I don't know. Go help some customers and client. Make some money. Okay, there's your airline ticket.
Right.
There's your hotel. There's your food. But if you hem and haw, well, when I make some money, then I'm going to do the training. Now, well, I'll catch it next year, Cody. You won't even be in the business next year. Let's just be honest. Can I be brutally honest, Cody?
Yeah.
You won't even be in the business. You'll wash out and go do something else.
That's right.
You know, so just show up, man. And this guy, talking about amazing, holy moly, if you get a chance to get coached and mentored by Cody, or even just be in one of his sessions, you will come out with like radically positive, and in here, some certainty. That Cody has a tremendous gift to help you realize, okay, all right, I can make it. I can do it. So yeah, you got to be at 8% ratio.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you. I also know you mentioned Darin Stubbs at Gmail and workinsurancenow.com. Darren, thank you for your time. Unbelievable job today. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for having me, Cody.
Thank you. Okay. If you enjoyed Power Players Podcast, let us know. Thank you, Darin Stubbs. Go look him up, follow him, and learn from him. And like Darren said, we'll see you at the next 8%.